This side Rahul Magan here is the Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting LLP, and today we would be covering our topic which is closeout netting. It's a very important topic from ISDA standpoint. ISDA stands for International Swaps and Derivative Association. But before initiating this topic, I would like to give you a good news that our fixed income platform, which we are talking from the last few months, is almost done, and probably anytime between 15th December 2017 to 25th December 2017, it's going to be up and running. It's going to be the first platform in this globe which will talk about all aspects of fixed income like MiFID second, FEMA, foreign exchange risk management, deliverable FX test, non-deliverable FX test, treasury market, virtual treasury zone, virtual treasurer zone, a lot of new things. In case you would like to have any update, you are most welcome to write to us, and do please note that now the fixed income KPO lines, KPO stands for Knowledge Processing Outsourcing, is already up and running. Our KPO is 91, which is an Indian number, 011, which is a Delhi code, then 401997774. I repeat, 91, which is Indian number, 1140199774. This is fixed income KPO lines. The Singapore number would be up and running from January 2018, and we would be circulating the Singapore number also across the globe. We would like to thank you very much that this fixed income platform would seriously be covering a lot of new things, and this would bringing a new shape to a very good industry which is known as fixed income. Moving back to the topic, which is closed out netting. It's turning out to be a very important topic nowadays. The reason being a lot of defaults which are happening. With due respect that in the last 2 weeks we have saw more than 2 defaults in China. There are more than 1 default that has already been happened in Indonesia. And practically speaking, in India also the list of defaulters are pretty long. Like today, which is 28th November 2017, when we are talking in the late night, we understand that the Chinese bank have brought to Reliance Com. Who is Reliance Com? Reliance Communication. It's one of the group companies of the younger brother Anil Ambani. Now this company is all set to wind it up. But did we ever thought that, boss, if this company is going to be winded up, then what about the hedges? Reliance Com is majority a net importer because they are in the telecommunication business. And what is telecommunication business? Basically, you first have to be a very good capex oriented company. Capex stands for capital expenditure, and then in that you would make out some money. So first you need to set up the fiber cables, you need to buy the towers, everything from a needle to an aircraft has to be bought by the company. This is what telecom business is. It's not a fruit and vegetable business whereby you just invest a small amount of money and you will start making the return within a week. It's a business where the gestation period is quite long, and sometimes it goes years, and sometimes even after the years you will not make anything, because we do understand that technology is changing at a very faster pace. And sometimes even for the companies it's being very difficult to handle that. And considering the situation of earnouts, considering the situation of basically the goodwill amortization, the goodwill impairment which is happening in the books of Vodafone India, due to intense competition, this closeout netting would be a wonderful example from an Indian standpoint. I, on a personal note, with due respect, believe that Reliance Com is a net importer, and they have a huge amount of foreign exchange in the books, being a net importer, and they're not a small importer. We understand that there was a time when the 2G network of this country was owned by only Reliance Com, and when the countries when this country India started launching 3G, it was more or less owned by Reliance Com, and then you came Airtel, Vodafone, now the Jio, and maybe some other player at a future point of time. Now the considerable thing which we should discuss here is, here we will take an example of not Reliance Com, we would be taking an example of an American entity, and we would try and explain you that how exactly this closeout netting works. But before starting this topic, we will elaborate you the technical and layman meaning of closeout netting. As far as the ISDA is concerned, ISDA stands for International Swap and Derivative Association. As far as the ISDA is concerned, closed out netting means a corporate is winding up all the transactions with the banks, because they are not in a situation to own, like we have Reliance Com. And today, which is 28th November, there is a company, a Japanese company called TK, something like that. I might be wrong in spelling that company. It's second after Mitsubishi, who reported that in the last 8 years, the revenue being overstated in the books. Now, I'm pretty sure that the hedges which they have taken against that revenue, although I've not been to the balance sheet of that company, but the hedges which they have taken against that revenue, there is some or another form of closeout netting that would surely be happening against that revenue. But that only time will tell. Here, moving to an example, Cognizant Technology, which is an American entity, a software-based company, is just for the sake of the examples. In all respect, we are only quoting an example so that it is easy for people to understand and make out, because these are well-known companies. We have no intention to only give out few specific names. Like we do respect that Cognizant is a wonderful company of this globe. In fact, it's my honest feedback that it is a company which have taught India how to do IT. What do you mean by information technology? And I'm very happy that Cognizant, being a company, as far as the hedge is also is concerned, they are the largest hedge taker in India. They're taking a position of 7 years. So whether it's a business, which is an IT business, or being a hedge on that IT business, it's Cognizant which is taught to this world, to India at least. And I'm very proud that we have such companies now, those who are streamlining the things and making things possible and letting people know, boss, the world is something which we have not yet saw. Back to topic. Cognizant Technology is having a forward position, which is AR, account receivable position, 500 million GBP at an outright of 1.41. We should not ask a question that from where this AR is coming. Cognizant is a hardcore information technology company, and Cognizant basically dealt in all IT solution. And few companies in this globe like Cognizant, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Accenture, they are few companies, practically speaking, they have all currencies in their book. And if you talk about few, if we take few selective like Google, Facebook, Apple and Microsoft, you just name the currency and they have in their book. Practically speaking, there is not a single currency in this globe which we do not have in the books of all these four companies, and especially Apple, which is sitting approximately 253 billion, roughly $253 billion of sales per year, and Samsung too. Cognizant is having an AR position, and of course, not to mention, because this is coming from IT, Cognizant believes that they are getting an AR of 500 million. Basically, this is an invoicing, and the outright is 1.41, which is they have booked. This is outright. Outright is 1.41. They took a position with JP Morgan Chase US, because here we are talking about a company, Cognizant US. So Cognizant US took a position with JP Morgan Chase US, which is the local bank. Now Cognizant, once JP Morgan is giving the rate, JP Morgan need to consider a very important valuation adjustment in the mind, because we should not discuss that, we should not forget that JP Morgan Chase is compliant with Basel III, and Basel III is very strict as far as the valuation adjustment is concerned. And one of the important valuation adjustment which we have is CVA, Credit Valuation Adjustment. So JP Morgan Chase needs to take CVA in the books on behalf of Cognizant. Of course, Cognizant is an exporter. They are selling the AR, and Cognizant should understand very carefully that the cost of the CVA has to be in the books of Cognizant, directly or indirectly. Now before giving this, CVA is simplistically also known as the CDS position, where CDS stands for Credit Default Swap. Of course, there are multiple school of thoughts as far as the CVA valuation is concerned, and I personally feel that CVA valuation has come a long way. Because a few years ago, we were very not reluctant. Basically, we were confined to only CDS, Credit Default Swap. But now we are confined to a lot of new things like first till default swap, nth till default swap, total return swap, and there are so many things which we have basically. So now things are changing pretty fast. So the way we used to compute CVA is not what we are computing now. It has completely been changed, to be precise, right? Now, JP Morgan Chase is taking a counter position of CVA with HSBC London. HSBC London. Do remember, I had quoted 500 million here and I am quoting 500 million here as well. The reason is quite clear and pretty simple. It's not an option contract. If this would have been an option contract, then here it won't be 500 million. Here it would be the delta of 500 million. So assuming Cognizant would have done 500 million of option and assuming the delta is 0.5, I should not tell you that 0.5 delta is at the money. At the money would always have half 0.5 delta. So if Cognizant would have done an option contract, and of course Cognizant would have done buy put contract because they are predominantly an exporter. So 0.5 means at the money. If delta would have been 0.5, then that is at the money. In that sense, JP Morgan Chase would have hedged $250 million. Sorry, my mistake, 250 million GBP, which HSBC London. And assuming the delta would have 0.3, which is relatively deep out of the money, JP Morgan Chase would have hedged 150 million GBP. So it depends upon delta. There's a lot of confusion as far as the closeout netting is concerned, and when it comes to CVA, credit valuation adjustment. The confusion people often crib that, boss, in case of a forward position, you are taking a complete. It's a mirror image. In our technical foreign exchange language, we refer this as a mirror image. In our foreign exchange, it's a mirror image. However, in terms of option, it is not. It's a delta based. So similarly here. Now, of course, if JP Morgan Chase is quoting because Cognizant is selling GBP, JP Morgan is buying GBP. If JP Morgan is buying GBP, JP Morgan would be buying from somebody, some interbank partner in technical sense. Assuming the interbank partner is Standard Chartered London. Standard Chartered London would have hedged in the CVA which UBS Zurich. Standard Chartered London interbank partner is Santander Spain. Santander is basically the SBI of Spain, State Bank of India of Spain, or I would say the UOB of Singapore, DBS Singapore, right? DBS of Spain, right? Now Santander would have hedged this with Morgan Stanley US, and Santander has this with UOB has this with DBS Singapore, and finally there is one BCN, which is Broker Crossing Network. This BCN will basically, this BCN will determine who is the actual owner. Now, owner could be a high net worth individual or owner might not be a high net worth individual. Assuming the period of this trade is 1 year, for a moment, and with due respect, assume that after 6 months, Cognizant, due to any reason, if I stand from IFRS 9 perspective, it could be de-designation of hedge or it could be de-recognition of revenue. I repeat, if I talk from IFRS 9 standpoint, it could be de-designation of hedge or it could be de-recognition of revenue. In either of the ways, Cognizant wanted to cancel this contract. Note very carefully, I am using two technical words, de-designation of hedge and de-recognition of revenue. Now that doesn't mean the cancellation for the profit motive, because we have a lot of companies like Reliance, we have Cargill, who are playing in forward futures basis point, right? Like if a forward is more here, then so on and so forth. So they continue to do that, right? In that sense, Cognizant would be winding up this deal with JP Morgan Chase. But this is not closeout netting. This is cancellation of a forward contract. What is the difference between closeout netting versus cancellation of a forward contract? Cancellation of a forward contract or any other derivative. First of all, remember, forward is not a derivative. Cancellation is nothing but winding up. You may enter into a fresh deal, you might not enter into a fresh deal. On the contrary, the closeout netting means that Cognizant as a company is winding up the business. They wanted to wind up the business and they wanted to shut their shop like we have in the case of Reliance Com. Now if Reliance Com, like today the Chinese bank have urged the NCLT National Company Law Tribunal, whereby they requested the liquidation of this company so that the fund which being raised from Chinese one of the largest Chinese bank, which is Chinese Construction Bank, that fund should have been reimbursed, not reimbursed in the sense they should have been repaid to the bank, right, by selling the asset of that company. In that sense, what it would happen, Reliance.com would be winding up the business. If Reliance.com would be winding up the business, they would have multiple contracts either with the same bank or multiple banks. If they are in that situation, in that sense, they need to wind up all the contracts, and what they're going to do, whatever net that would be coming, whether it is a plus or it's a minus, plus will never happen. The reason being, it's seldom, not often. The reason being, it's mark to market. In mark to market, the banks have taken up for position in the interbank market, and banks are going to seriously hit. Assuming what would if Cognizant would have come and asked all the banks, boss, I'm winding up my shop and I'm requesting you to please wind up all the trades. It's going to be, boss, seriously a mess in the industry. Then all the contracts, approximately few billions of contracts which have been taken only on Cognizant, now it's going to be winded it up. This is what it is known as closeout netting. Unfortunately, there are still many people who don't understand the difference between closeout netting and cancellation of forward contract. As far as the regulatory is concerned, ISDA do permit that. ISDA Master Service Agreement 1992 and ISDA Master Service Agreement 2002 both permits that. However, there is a standard reasoning behind the same. It's not that you just wanted to wind it up, so you are just winding it up. No. You need to give a standard reasoning besides, and after giving a standard reasoning, you may be able to wind up your positions. But again, the law is pretty silent that can you rebook it or not, because closeout netting is something which is standard across the globe, but rebooking of the transaction is something which is being very, very silent in the law. So it's depend upon that regulator. Like in context of Reserve Bank of India, in some cases rebooking is allowed, in some cases rebooking is not allowed. So similarly, different central banks will have different contentions or different views as far as this is concerned. This is what we wanted to present all about closeout netting. Closeout netting is seriously a wonderful game, considering the fact that a lot of Indian companies, with due respect, are moving towards default due to their huge operational losses, like we have RCOM now. Closeout netting would surely be an issue in the banking soon. And the central bank need to take up a call that how they are going to be allowing this exposure, because if banks would wind up their transaction, this would have an impact in the mark-to-market transactions. And of course, it's a call of the central bank how they are going to take it up. Well, our website is www.treasuryconsulting.in, and the fresh website is on the way. Fixed income, just 15 days from now, which is www.fixedincome.global. Don't try open up now, right? Because it won't work. But soon it would be coming. www.fixedincome.global. Present website, www.treasuryconsulting.in. My mobile, 9899242978. Skype ID, Rahul5327. And don't forget our fixed income KPO number. It's 91, which is an Indian code, 1140199774. Let me write here. 91, which is an Indian code, 011, which is the daily code, 4019974. Singapore number is on the way. Email rahul.magan@treasuryconsulting.in. Thank you and have a wonderful time ahead. Thank you.